Hey there, crew. Allie here, and welcome to the weekly Lure, a show where we yap about anything that comes to our mind while I fish for nothing in particular. First things first, we're in Limsa today to start our little journey. I figured this would be a nice backdrop while I kind of talk about anything Final Fantasy related. Maybe a couple things not so related here and there. For those who do not know me, my name is Allie Ashford. I am a Dampier VTuber who once did a Final Fantasy XIV channel in the past. However, I've since converted that one over to model kits and such, so I'm going to start a new one here. What are we even talking about today? I guess there is a fair amount to talk about. As of the recording of this video, the World First teams currently have Kefka Ultimate at Phase 3. I think they've gotten about 15% into Phase 3 so far, so the World Race is still going as of the recording of this on the 3rd of June. Although I don't do Ultimate rating myself, it is always very, very fun to watch the process. Plus, I really like how the Kefka weapons look. Normally, I'm not big on like purple and yellow as a color pattern, but I really like these. I like how they incorporate like Kefka's clothing into the weapon, and it looks really good. It's really goofy, and that's what I love the most, which is appropriate for a Kefka weapon, I think. Yesterday, we had a patch rollout, which included updates to Cosmic Exploration, as well as the Ultimate, of course. New custom deliveries, things of that nature. So I've been spending my time doing quite a bit of crafting. Though I've hit a little bit of a roadblock, I need to finally get off my butt and update my crafting gear a bit so I can do some of the higher level crafts for Cosmic. It's been really fun though overall. I'm slowly grinding out all the cosmetic things because at the end of the day, that's really what I'm in it for. I love gathering up the mounts, the emotes, things like that. And there are plenty of them. There are so many mounts actually in Cosmic Exploration. I'll have to count them all up at some point because I don't really know how many there are, but it's a bunch. I'm slowly working on leveling up a blacksmithing relic because I figure, you know what? I've never actually sat down to do a crafting relic, so this would be a good chance. I'm going to be grinding out a lot anyway. I've seen some previews. I don't even know if it's previews. I've simply seen some people running around with the 780 item level crafting relic, and it looks really pretty. So I'm curious to see what the blacksmithing hammer looks like, because I got to thinking about it. Like, I asked myself in character, what would my character be as a crafting job? Because I wouldn't have them as an omni crafter, like in a roleplay setting. I would, I'd probably pick one, maybe two, because I feel like cooking is, you know, okay to have around. And on snagging real quick. I'm not really expecting to get anything good fishing wise. It's just, it lets me hit buttons while I talk, and that helps me think a little bit. Did I mention I love the fishing in this game? Anyway. As far as like character roleplay goes, I guess that's a good segue. One of the things I really want to do on this channel is dive into more, I guess, lore and roleplay aspects of the game. I guess how the lore applies to roleplay. I figured that would be really fun to play with because back when I did my channel the first time around, I like dipped into my roleplay experience a little bit to share it on the channel. I didn't do it a whole lot though because I kind of shoehorned myself into this position where I was doing like job guides and various guides on how to unlock stuff, various like G-pose guides, things like that. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I simply realized over time it wasn't fun for me to make that kind of content. And it kind of led to me heavily burning out on making 14 content, which is why I kind of converted the YouTube channel, the other one, over to like model kits and stuff to begin with. So I think this time around, I have a better idea of what I would like to do because roleplay, I mean, I've roleplayed in WoW. I started roleplaying in WoW in like 2006, 2007 onward. And then when I came over to Final Fantasy around 2015, I also got heavily into roleplay, and it's always been something that I've done. For me, it's like writing character lore, giving my poor little OCs immense amounts of trauma that they don't deserve. For me, like that's how I get through like patch and content lulls, because it's almost like even if it's player made, even if it's self-made, it like adds another dynamic to the game for me. So I'm really thinking about cooking on that a little bit more. For example, I've got some like little short skits I'll call them skits. It's not really like comedy stuff, but little short form, little like role play scenes that I want to record out, kind of diving into my character, her backstory, things like that. Because I had a character who I played for years and years and years, and she was my roleplay main. A couple years ago, no, it was still during Shadowbringers. During Shadowbringers, I killed her off. Was it Shadowbringers? Yes. It was right before Endwalker. That's when it was. Okay. Yeah. I killed her off like indefinitely because I wanted to start fresh. And then I just tried out some different, character takes here and there for a couple years. At the end of the day, though, I had written so much lore for that particular character that I really didn't want to simply like leave it to rot. So this character that I'm playing now is canonically that former character's daughter. So I'm going to be kind of picking up from there and working on new stories. She's not going to be like a photocopy of the old character because that would defeat the purpose of everything. The old character's lore, past, and like the skeletons in her closet are going to be important for this character's development. And I'm excited to flesh that out. It's going to be a scenario of like the character on one hand wonders if they should like try to carry their mother's legacy while at the same time trying to like figure out who they actually are as an individual. It's going to be interesting. It might get a bit dark, and by might, it is going to get a bit dark because there's going to be like a lot of Allegan science experiment ish kind of stuff going on. So I'm looking forward to like portraying those scenes in videos. And obviously, like, it's nothing that's like graphic or anything. I'm a fan of psychological thrillers, so that's kind of the direction that I'm going in with that. I'm excited though. I guess really the only hiccup that I run into is when I sit down to actually like record, I kind of have to get into a mindset of like, all right, how am I going to script these scenes out? How am I going to portray them? Because the filming process is going to be interesting. Basically, I kind of have to make the most out of the environment. Like, if I need background characters, I have to find NPCs in the world and like position the scenes around them in a way that makes sense. So it's really gonna like test me on how creative I can get with this. For those of you who have followed my former World of Warcraft content, it was a little bit easier to record videos with like NPCs and stuff like that. A little bit more tricky in Final Fantasy because for those who don't know, for those who are unfamiliar with both games, Final Fantasy XIV, what have you, in World of Warcraft, add-ons are commonplace. They are, they're something that's been part of World of Warcraft since the beginning, and the devs supported that. You had add-on buttons in the game, things like that. That is not the case for Final Fantasy XIV. So it really challenges me to basically look around this world and make the most out of what we have. Like if I need to do a scene that has a beast in it, for example, like behind me, I know you can't see them very well, but there's some like little lizard dudes back there. I might need to line my character up so that they're in the background or face my character in G pose with like a battle stance to make it look like they're fighting, for example. A lot of like smoke and mirror kind of stuff, which I'm actually kind of excited about. I like challenging myself creatively. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to all of the RP OC slop because it's something I've wanted to do for a while. And I always hesitate it because I'm like, well, back like 2-3 years ago, I'm like, well, I don't know if anyone's really going to care about this stuff. And now that some time has passed, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make it anyway because it makes me happy. And I think at the end of the day, that's what creating is all about. Do what makes you happy. And there's an entire discussion to be had about YouTube analytics and things like that, which does play into stuff. We won't get into that here, though. This is just a chill video while I'm fishing precariously on a cliff, mind you. Makeshift bait. I've never actually used this button before. Allows the execution of mooch or spherical hand, even with average size fish. Interesting. Goes to show you how much fishing I've actually done in this expansion. Oh, on that topic too, I want to do a video talking about Dawntrail because I am a Dawntrail enjoyer. I actually genuinely love Dawntrail. And I've been thinking about how I want to do that video. It's not even going to be a complicated video. It's mostly me sharing like my opinions on the expansion and things like that. Sat down and I kind of broke down what it is about an expansion and a story that I enjoy. Oh, we got a shark. Neat. Wonder if I can do anything with that shark. We'll find out. But yeah, no, I broke down everything about all the expansions, what I liked, what I didn't like. Because no expansion is perfect. No expansion is perfect. Every expansion has its ups and downs, and that's okay. When I broke it all down, though, Dawntrail is equal, and mind you, this is my personal opinion, and I have reasonings as to why I've reached this opinion, which I'll go into in another video, that I compiled and realized, okay, this is why I've ended at this result. For me personally, Dawntrail is equal to Shadowbringers in terms of how much I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to and a little bit terrified of making the video breaking that down. Because I might get burned at the stake a little bit. I will try to convey my thoughts in a concise manner, though. There's a lot that happens, or a lot that has happened in Dawntrail that I really like, and it appeals to me as like a story consumer. So there's a little hint there, but yeah, no, for me, Shadowbringers and Dawntrail are equal for my favorite expansions so far. And that's not to say there's anything wrong with the former expansions. Like, I love Stormblood. I loved Endwalker. Heaven's Ward was my first ever expansion. So there's a lot to be said. I just need to figure out how I want to script it out and word it. Because as you've noticed in this video, sometimes I loop in my thoughts. And that's kind of what this video is for. It's to let me yap. You get to see the madness of my thinking process when I'm not like scripting or attempting to be super concise. I'm excited though. I'm excited. And I'm excited for Evercold moving forward because it has a lot of themes and things like that I very much enjoy from at least what we've seen so far. What else is there? Oh yeah, I figure I may as well go into this a little bit too. For those of you who might be new to the channel, a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be working on, not every video, of course, like we did the Eorzean GeoGuessr video that's already on the channel. I do my best to be incredibly careful about spoilers. It's a big thing for me. I feel like spoiling people on anything in this game is a dang crime. So if I do a skit video, if I do like a lore or an OC video that goes into heavy spoiler topics, there will be a screen at the start of each of those particular videos that's like, I don't know what's a good time limit, like maybe 10 seconds, 5-10 seconds long, that says, hey, you know, we are entering spoiler territory for this expansion, for this patch. If you have not completed these prerequisites, you will be spoiled. That way everyone has ample ability to know what's coming. And basically the thumbnails for those videos will also be very ambiguous and not, am I using that word right? I don't know. The thumbnails will be very vague. They won't use spoiler videos or spoiler videos. They won't use spoiler areas, I should say. I'm going to make them very vague. That way, you know, I've run into this a lot. I've run into this with Final Fantasy XIV. I've run into this with WoW. I've run into this with Helldivers. People want clicks on YouTube. You know, more clicks equals more channel prog. That's just how it works. And I get that. I get that to a degree. However, you know, it's not fun when you're opening YouTube, go into your For You page, and suddenly all you see is an unavoidable spoiler in the form of a thumbnail or a title. So I want to avoid that. I want to avoid that because it frustrates me, and I'm sure it frustrates you. So, I've actually been starting to read through the third lore book. I'm on page 24. If you haven't looked into them yet, the 3 volumes of the Encyclopedia Eorzea that have been released, beautiful. They're put together wonderfully. The artwork in them is fantastic. They're beautiful books. They really are. My only complaint as someone who is dyslexic is the font is very small. And I feel like that was done to accommodate simply how much lore and stuff is being put into the volumes. But yeah, for me personally, I have to take my time to read through it simply because the font is a little smaller. It's not the worst, though. It's definitely not the smallest thing I've come across. And praising. Highly recommend the books, though. Highly recommend. Like I said, I'm on page 24, going on to page 25 of volume 3. And I've been enjoying it so far. I've been doing it as a means to try to learn a bit more. Because I like to think I'm fairly versed in the lore. The book, however, it can give you more context. It can give you a lot more context. I'm trying to remember how the books go. So Volume 1 covers pretty much everything in A Realm Reborn. Volume 2 is heavily Stormblood, I believe. I'm trying to remember if it's Volume 1 or Volume 2. I think it's Volume 1 that covers Heavensward as well. I think. I might be wrong on that. I'll have to check later. Volume 3 is like Shadowbringers Endwalker. So, you know, kind of give you an idea of what you're getting yourself into if you haven't gotten that far in MSQ and you're looking to pick up the books. Volume 3 is Shadowbringers Endwalker. Volume 2 is Stormbloodish. Volume 1 is ARR, and I think Heavensward. Please correct me on that if I'm wrong. And I'll make an edit in here if I take a look beforehand. Yeah, though, I'm excited. I'm excited to be getting back into this kind of content. I really enjoy making stuff on YouTube, despite my ADHD fighting me when it comes to like video editing and actually like giving myself a recording schedule. Consistency is key on YouTube, so it's an ongoing battle for me. Twitch ain't doing so hot. The purple website ain't doing so hot. Analytically speaking, it is like hemorrhaging. So even though I still do stuff there, I'm like digging my heels back into YouTube creation. Because we have our primary YouTube channel, which is Gunpla and model kits of that nature. We have this channel, and I have a brand new VODs and like miscellaneous game channel, which that'll be for VODs, and if I like stream Helldivers or something, I can put it there. That way it's simply catalog stuff. I think that's all I really got for the day, though. I could ramble on for hours. However, I noticed this video is coming up to the 22-minute mark. I think that's enough Allie rambling like a mad lass for a little bit. So I think we will wrap that up here, gamers. If you made it to this point, thank you so much for listening to me yap. I'm looking forward to getting these up weekly. I know this is a Wednesday that I've recorded this. This will probably come out. Ooh, when is this going to come out? Friday or Saturday? I know these kind of videos typically go up on Monday. We might aim for a Saturday release schedule for these, though. We'll see. We'll see. The first week might be a little off, and then the second week we might get onto a proper schedule with it. We shall see. With all that said, though, thank you all so much for watching, my Final Fantasy XIV friends. My name is Allie, and I will see you all in our next video. Ta-ta for now.